Welcome, everyone. It's Genene, and it is day 25 of your 30-day yoga journey towards more meaningful connection. Today's practice focuses on balancing our heart chakra. If you'd like to get more information about chakras, I have a lot more information as well as more in-depth videos, yoga practices for each of the chakras on my website. So I'll link that down below. Blocks. Today, you'll need either 2 blankets, or I'm going to use 2. If you don't have either one, no worries. You can roll your mat up longwise like so, and then you'd be lying on it like that. Before we begin, remember, please to subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll be notified of all my upcoming videos. And please let me know in the comments below, did you feel this in your heart center, and how did the practice work for you? Can't wait to hear. We're going to begin lying on our backs, but with our props, to start opening this chest area, this heart center area. So you take your 2 blocks, or if you're taking your blankets, you're just lying them out lengthwise. You might have done this already before, stretching your legs out and then lying on the blanket so that your upper and middle back are supported. Your hips are on the ground. Either way. Blocks can start on level 1. One is behind your head. So if you only have 1 block, then you can just put a blanket or something behind your head instead. And then here I'll show you what it looks like. Right in between your shoulder blades, the middle of your shoulder blades here in the mid-back. Then behind your head. And then you lie down that way. So stretch your legs out in front of you, lengthen your spine on an inhale so that you keep your spine long as you lower down. And I'm going to do it on purpose wrongly, so don't do this. But if you're on your back, your low back like that, that's going to hurt. So make sure you're actually on bone, on the shoulder blades, and you can adjust. And you'll know if you're in the wrong place. If your chin is going and sticking up like this and it's super uncomfortable because the shoulders go, then you can flip this block upward. And so do necessary adjustments, palms face up, arms out to the side. If you're lying here, breathing, and after a few breaths, your low back is hurting, then a trick is to bend your knees, lift your hips slightly, lengthen your hips towards your heels. So you're doing a little bit of a pelvic tilt. This may feel better for you. And straighten your legs one at a time. And then gently allow your eyes to close. Turning your intention inward towards your breath. Feel the freedom moving in and out through your nose, through your lungs. Allowing yourself to relax deeper into your props. And now take your attention to your heart center. The color of the heart chakra is green. So imagining a green sphere of light at your heart, circling in all directions. Anahata Chakra. And for today, focus on what you sense in your heart chakra, the receiving in, the expressing out through this energy center, this swirling vortex of energy. And let your whole attention just be immersed in your heart, feeling this circular action of the giving and the receiving from your heart to your heart. Now turn your attention to your intention for your practice. A reminder why you got on your mat today. Infusing it with a heart-themed intention, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's a word, a sentence, a feeling, a color. Stating that to yourself. And now to come out, either bending your knees and rolling onto one side, or turn your palms face down, lift your head, and roll up. And remove your blocks out of the way. Come to a seated cross-legged position. Take an inhale here. And an exhale. Just notice how your breath has changed. All we did was lie down on 2 blocks. Where does it feel easier? On your next inhale, take your right hand to your left thigh, left hand behind you. And then exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, come back to center, switch sides. So using your heart and your belly to twist rather than your hands. Inhaling first and then exhaling, twisting to the right. Inhale back to center. Come to hands and knees. And from here, left leg forward, right between your hands. Anjane asana. So engage your pelvic floor to help you stay strong and lifted. Of course, legs are strong. Clasp your hands behind your back. So if you need to, grab a strap. You can grab a blanket. If you're tight in the shoulders, then you don't have to clasp. The chest lifting. Feel the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together, coming together, lifting your heart upward. And then come to the other side. Clasping your hands the other way if you're clasping your hands. Inhale to lengthen your spine, lengthen both sides of your waist, and then exhale, maybe you go a little deeper. Throat open. And then from here, take your hands down to the floor, and you can go through chaturanga to lie down, or just simply come down onto the ground for shalambhasana, locust pose. Take your arms by your side. So we'll do it this way today. Palms can be face up. Find your pelvis. Imagine you're going to lift everything up and away from your pelvis. And inhale, lift, hold. You're lifting your legs from your thighs. And you're lifting your heart center just to that point. We're not feeling pain. We're just feeling, okay, I feel my back working, but it's not actually painful. And then exhale, hands down, feet down, hands across from chest. Inhale, cobra, little deeper back bend. Again, feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades come together, lifting the heart, broadening through your chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog. As the arm bones lift up, your chest pulls through your arms without collapsing the upper arm. Come down onto your knees, step your left leg forward. Now, Anjane first, hands clasped, with or without strap, blanket, belt, what you have. Or option to turn this now into a back bend if this is comfortable for you today. Inhale, lengthen, and lift up and back. Thinking about lifting your heart a little more than you thought you needed to. Not the chin, not the neck coming forward, it's the heart. Keep the throat open. Head back. Imagine you're having a conversation with a dear friend. If you can't talk, your chin might be jutting a little too far forward. And then come back. Let's stay on this side for a moment, shall we? So from here, you may want, if you happen to have a blanket, it underneath your back knee because we're going to put a little more pressure on it. So this is balance. Right hand down to the floor, and we're going to open up the chest. Lift your back foot off the ground. This might be enough for you. Left hand grabs right foot. And from here, inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn your belly and your heart left. Open up your left shoulder and keep your right shoulder opening. And now release that. A little bit more opening for the hips. Take that left foot to the middle of your mat. These are all pigeon variations. Now come on to the outer edge of your left foot. So you're going to lengthen through the inner edge of this lower foot. So no wrinkles in the ankle. Dig that foot, outer foot, into the mat and pull it back behind you. Now you could lift the back knee off the ground for a moment. You could take your hands off of your mat, bow, and then come back down. Keep the foot, well, don't keep the foot there. Walk the foot over to the right. So another pigeon prep. And then you're going to take this left knee down to the floor. Either the foot is going to be, if you want it less challenging, if you need it to be easier, you point the foot, bring it underneath the hip. If you have more open hips, then it would be square. Either way, you're firmly turning the back inner thigh in, like this. Now, option to keep going. All sorts of options. Keeping the ribs turning from right to left, bend your right leg, right knee, and grab the foot. Maybe. I'm grabbing from the inside. Maybe you're grabbing from the outside. If you're grabbing from the inside, the elbow can swing up towards the sky. You wrap your fingers around the front of your foot, and then you bring your heel wherever you are towards your outer right hip, and that should open up some things in your thighs. Where are you feeling this? If it's too intense, you're backing off. And now, let's go into downward facing dog so we can go into the other side. Now just notice from right to left, where do you feel different, the same? And then come down onto your knees, step your left leg forward. No. Step your right leg forward. Come up when you have balance, so you're engaged. We're never throwing ourselves. We're leading, taking care of ourselves. Clasp your hands. Reach your arms back. Maybe on an inhale, this is a back bend, maybe not. Want to go deeper into your lumbar spine, take your hips forward more. Lift your chest. Inhale, come up. Now hands to the mat. Walk this foot to the middle. Come onto the outer right foot. dig that outer right foot like a knife cutting into earth and drawing under you. Extend your spine, maybe going deeper by lifting the back leg. Maybe you're bowing forwards a little bit more. All of this will make it more intense. There's many ways to make it less intense. Your choice. And now bring the knee down. Take your right foot over to the right. Bend your left knee. Right hand grabs left foot. So doing it a little differently on this side. So the right heel is going to your outer left hip so you don't hurt your low back here. Inhale and then exhale, twist. Heart turns, belly turns right, chest broad. And then come back to center. Now we'll go into that pigeon prep. Walk the right foot all the way over to the left. Choose where you want your foot. The foot is flexed if it's 90. If it's not 90, then the foot is going to be pointed. Now, if you're bending, little trick too, if you're bending your back leg and going to clasp, then it is probably going to be better for you to bring your leg more underneath your hip. Let me know if you agree with that. That's what it is for me. So lift up. Maybe you grab this back foot. So I'm taking, again, from the inside, index finger on top, and then I swing the elbow up, bring the heel to the outer hip, and begin to really turn my ribs from right to left. Not my neck, not my head. And now come to downward facing dog, stretch it all out, and come onto your knees for Setu Bandha Sarvangasana bridge pose. Now you're choosing how far away your feet are. If they're too far, then your hamstrings are going to have to work so hard. So bring your feet parallel. Make sure they're not turning out. And then inhale, lift your hips. Engage your glutes. Lift your chest towards your chin. Your chin is steady, but your heart is yearning to touch it. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Maybe you clasp your hands this time. Maybe it's a little bit of taking the shoulders under just enough. Feel the heart lifting. Feel the chest expanding. Release. And then remember, if you clasp your hands, which way you clasp them, and clasp them the other way this time. Inhale, lift up. What experience are you creating? Is it in line with your intentions? Change accordingly. Use the power of your legs to press, lift your hips a little higher. And exhale, release. Now, roll onto your right side. Grab your blocks if you have them. If you don't, it's okay. Ustrasana. We haven't been practicing that long, so let's use blocks, one on either side of the feet, and then you figure out where you actually need to be. Give your attention to your heart center. Imagine lifting your heart. And when you lift your heart, your head comes back to make room for your heart. So reach down through your arms to start. Lift your chest. So even though your thighs are pulling back, your hips are pressed forward, lifting your pelvic floor to help you. There's a lot of ab work here. Then maybe hands come to your blocks if you have them, and then you push down through your hands to lift your heart up. So notice a tendency to want to roll the shoulders forward and instead roll them back. This is powerful. Camel pose. And then inhale, come up. Sit down in Vajrasana, sitting on your heels for a few moments. That can really get you energized. You feel that? So after that, we're going to do some cooling down, very gentle cool down. So take your hands out in front of you and let yourself get just the tiniest rounding of your back. This isn't as far as you can go. It's just breathing open, some space. And then release that. No need for blocks. Come down to lying on your backs. Draw your right knee into your chest. Maybe you straighten that left leg, maybe not. And then simply reach behind your right thigh, if you can grab it, and straighten your right leg up to the sky. So you might not be able to hold on, that's okay. If you can grab the foot, maybe just one hand, you can wrap your first two fingers around that big toe instead. You're doing something where you're not throwing your shoulder out, hurting your neck. Let this be peaceful and restful. And then bend your right knee into your chest, roll onto your left side. Gentle supine twist. Deep, long breath. Inhale back to center. Release that side. Come on to the other side. Left knee into chest. You can start with the right knee bent if you like, and then choose. Maybe you straighten the left leg first, and then begin to straighten your right leg. Bend the left knee. Roll all the way onto your right hip, a gentle twist. Inhale back to center. And then roll onto your right side. And come to a nice seated position, gently closing your eyes. Rub your hands together, creating some heat. Now place your hands on your heart center. Imagine now underneath your fingers in your chest a spinning vortex of green light 4 inches around. Notice your breath and see it flowing into your heart. Feel your heart's energy swirling inside your chest, radiating outward from your heart center throughout your whole body and flowing back into your heart. Say to yourself, I am lovable. I am loved and loving. I am love. Imagine your whole being as a light, vibrating as love. Now take a deep inhale and exhale, sigh all your air out through your mouth and come back to your natural breath. You may choose to go into Shavasana now, staying there as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon, tomorrow. Namaste.